Domestic roles in a partnership, balance, not blueprint. When people hear the phrase domestic roles, they often picture something straight out of an old sitcom, one person in an apron, the other with a briefcase, each playing their assigned part like it's been handed down in a script. But in real relationships, the kind that have to survive bills, schedules, unexpected emergencies, and real human moods, that kind of fixed casting falls apart fast. Domestic roles aren't meant to be rigid job descriptions, they're meant to be living agreements. And the best partnerships don't treat them as static. They treat them as dynamic, responsive to life's shifting weight. The old model versus the real model. The traditional model says one earns the money, one runs the home, one makes the decisions, one supports. Tasks are divided once and rarely change. The real model, the one that actually works long-term, says both earn when possible, both contribute at home, decisions are shared and leadership shifts depending on the situation. Task division is flexible based on need, skill, and energy, not gender or old rules. Why? Because life doesn't care about your blueprint. A sick day, a job loss, a new baby, a sudden move. Any of these can completely flip the workload. If your relationship can't flex, it will crack. 3 layers of 1, skills-based distribution. Every partnership has a natural skill map. One person might be great with finances, but terrible at cooking. The other might be a creative problem solver, but hates paperwork. In strong partnerships, people lean into their strengths without trapping each other in them. Example, if you're great at cooking, maybe you cook most nights, but your partner still learns enough to step in when you can't. The key, no skill should become a prison. It should be a contribution, not a life sentence. 2, energy-based adjustments. Skills are important, but energy is the daily currency. Some weeks you're on fire, some weeks you're running on fumes. In healthy partnerships, domestic roles flex with energy levels. If one partner is buried under work deadlines, the other takes more at home. No scoreboard, no resentment. The roles rebalance later when the load shifts. This isn't helping the other person. It's owning the fact that the home is both of yours. 3, respect for invisible labour. Not all work in a household is visible. Remembering the kids' dentist appointments, refilling the dog's food, mentally tracking which bills are on autopay. These are tasks too. Often one person ends up doing more mental load work without realising it. Strong couples talk about this openly and share the invisible work, not just the visible chores. Breaking the scorekeeping habit. One of the biggest killers of harmony in domestic roles is scorekeeping, the mental ledger of who did what, when, and how often. Scorekeeping turns the home into a competition instead of a collaboration. Healthy couples track fairness instead of equality. Equality says we both did exactly 50%. Fairness says we both gave what we could when we could. Some weeks that's balanced, some weeks it's lopsided. Over time, if trust is intact, it evens out. Choreography, not chains. A good domestic role system feels like dance choreography. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, sometimes you improvise, sometimes you stick to the steps. You're both moving to the same rhythm, even if the steps look different. Rigid roles, on the other hand, feel like chains. You get locked into a single identity, the one who cleans, the one who pays, the one who plans. Chains eventually create resentment because life changes, but the chains don't. The conversation that keeps it working. Domestic roles only work if they're revisited. A couple that never talks about them will drift into imbalance without realizing it. The check-in doesn't have to be formal. Sometimes it's as simple as, open quote, "Hey, I'm feeling stretched thin this week. Can you handle dinner runs until Friday?" Close quote. Or, open quote, "I've been doing most of the kid drop-offs lately. Can we swap for a bit?" Close quote. The point isn't to complain. It's to keep the system in sync. Why this matters beyond chores. How a couple handles domestic roles says a lot about how they handle everything. It reflects how they negotiate fairness, how they handle stress and shifting responsibilities, how they respect each other's time, energy, and unseen efforts. If you can run a household together with respect, adaptability, and a sense of partnership, you can navigate most other challenges life throws at you. The takeaway: domestic roles aren't set in stone. They're a living agreement between two people. The most resilient partnerships. Play to each other's strengths without trapping each other. Adjust for energy and life's curveballs. Respect both visible and invisible labour. Talk about the balance often and without blame. When both people treat the home as our responsibility instead of yours or mine, domestic roles stop being a battleground and start being a shared strategy for peace, stability, and mutual respect. The goal isn't to split the load perfectly every day, it's to carry it together over the years without breaking under it.